The searing desert winds whisper tales of forgotten empires, of sun-baked sands swallowing legends whole. Yet some stories refuse to be buried, echoing across millennia with a primal roar of defiance. Imagine an empire, the greatest the world had ever known, its eagle standards planted from Britannia's cold shores to the scorching sands of Egypt. Now picture a queen scarred and formidable, her kingdom a vibrant jewel nestled along the Nile, far from Rome's immediate gaze, yet destined to clash with its insatiable hunger. This is not just a tale of conflict. It is a saga of audacious courage, of a queen who, with one eye fixed firmly on her people's freedom, dared to challenge the mightiest power on earth and emerged victorious. How could such an impossible feat be achieved? How did a ruler from a land Rome considered a mere frontier manage to force the mighty Augustus to the negotiating table? Not as a vanquished foe, but as an equal. Prepare to journey into a forgotten chapter of history to witness the unyielding spirit of Amanirenas, the one-eyed Kandake of Meroë, whose story remains a testament to the power of an indomitable will. If you're captivated by these epic sagas of forgotten heroes and their battles against impossible odds, please remember to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel. Your support fuels these deep dives into history's most compelling moments. Stay with us, for the full scope of her extraordinary triumph is about to unfold. The year is approximately 25 BC. The world trembles under the shadow of a new colossus, Rome. Its emperor, Octavian, now styled Augustus, has finally quelled the civil wars that tore the Republic apart and ushered in an age of unprecedented peace, the Pax Romana, enforced by legions whose very name struck terror into the hearts of men. Egypt, once the opulent domain of the Ptolemies and Cleopatra, had fallen, its fertile lands now the personal granary of Augustus, fueling Rome's vast appetites. To the south, beyond the cataracts of the Nile, lay a different world, ancient and proud, the Kingdom of Kush, or Meroë. For centuries, this land had been a vibrant crossroads of trade, its capital city, Meroë, a glittering hub where gold, ivory, and exotic spices flowed. Its people, the Nubians, were renowned archers, formidable warriors whose lineage stretched back to the pharaohs, a civilization rich in culture, its own unique script, and powerful warrior queens, the Kandakes, who held sway with an iron will. Rome, in its arrogant expansion, saw Meroë as a mere buffer, a wild, exotic land whose wealth might eventually be absorbed. The Roman governor of Egypt, Gaius Petronius, a man hardened by campaigns, and steeped in Roman superiority, viewed the Meroitic border as an inconvenience, ripe for the plucking of tribute and resources. The air was thick with the scent of impending confrontation, a clash between two worlds, one a titan reaching for global dominion, the other an ancient kingdom fiercely guarding its ancestral independence. Into this volatile crucible of imperial ambition and ancient pride stepped Amanirenas, a figure destined to etch her name into the annals of defiant greatness. Not much is known of her early life, shrouded as it is in the mists of Meroitic history, but when she ascended to the throne as Kandake, a title signifying immense power, often combining roles of queen mother and ruling monarch, she inherited a legacy of strength and an imminent threat. She was no fragile ruler. Her very image, captured in the surviving reliefs of her time, portrays a woman of formidable stature, broad-shouldered, radiating an aura of unwavering resolve. And then there was the eye. Accounts suggest that Amanirenas had lost an eye, possibly in battle or through illness, a physical scar that, far from diminishing her, became a potent symbol of her unyielding spirit. It marked her, set her apart, perhaps even fueled a deeper, more visceral commitment to protect her people. She would gaze upon the world with singular focus, her vision undeterred by the peripheral distractions that might blind a less determined leader. This was not a queen to be trifled with, not a ruler who would bend knee to foreign powers. Her heart beat with the ancient rhythms of the Nile, her soul forged in the fires of Meroitic independence, and she watched the encroaching shadow of Rome with a growing simmering rage, a primal instinct to defend her sacred lands and the sovereignty of her people. The Roman encroachment became unbearable. Governor Petronius, emboldened by Rome's undisputed dominance, demanded tribute from Meroë, a blatant attempt to subjugate the proud kingdom and annex its valuable resources. For Amanirenas, this was an unforgivable insult, a direct challenge to Meroitic sovereignty that echoed through centuries of independent rule. She saw Rome's demands not just as taxation, but as a slow, suffocating stranglehold on her people's very essence. The Kandake knew that to concede an inch would be to lose a mile, to pave the way for complete Roman domination. Unlike many who would cower before the might of the legions, Amanirenas responded with a thunderclap. Her decision was audacious, a gamble that defied all conventional wisdom. Instead of waiting for Rome to invade, she would strike first. It was an act of breathtaking courage, a declaration of war against an empire that had never truly known defeat in such a direct, personal challenge from a perceived barbarian queen. Her one remaining eye would fix itself on a singular, audacious goal, to not merely defend, but to demonstrate Meroë's power to make Rome bleed for its arrogance, to carve out a space of respect through sheer, unadulterated force of will. The desert winds, usually silent witnesses, now seemed to howl with anticipation. In 25 BC, the sands of the Nubian desert stirred, not with the usual trade caravans, but with the measured tread of Meroitic warriors. Amanirenas, a living embodiment of defiance, led her forces north, a vanguard of archers famed for their deadly accuracy, spearmen and even elephants, a symbolic echo of ancient African power. They were a sight to behold, a tide of dark-skinned warriors, their weapons gleaming under the merciless sun, their hearts beating with a unified purpose to reclaim what was theirs and to send a message of unyielding resistance. Their target, the Roman garrisons scattered along the border of Egypt. The initial Roman response was one of shock and disbelief. Who dared challenge Rome? But Amanirenas' forces were swift and brutal. They overwhelmed the unsuspecting Roman outposts, sweeping through the forts of Syene, modern Aswan, and Philae with a ferocious intensity. Roman soldiers, accustomed to easy victories against fractured tribes, found themselves facing a disciplined, motivated army under the command of a queen who led from the front. The ultimate symbolic act of defiance came when Amanirenas' troops sacked Aswan, pulling down the bronze statues of Emperor Augustus himself. One particularly large and imposing head of Augustus was severed and dragged back to Meroë, not to be melted down, but to be buried beneath the threshold of a temple, so that every Meroitic citizen would walk over the symbolic head of their oppressor, trampling Roman pride with every step. The news of this unprecedented Meroitic offensive sent shockwaves through the Roman province of Egypt and beyond. An empire accustomed to dictating terms was now bleeding, humiliated by a queen it had dismissed as a mere chieftain. The audacity of Amanirenas' offensive ignited Rome's predictable and terrifying wrath. Governor Petronius, stung by the insult and the loss of face, immediately began to mobilize the full might of the Roman war machine. This was not merely a punitive expedition. It was to be a crushing display of imperial power, a lesson delivered in steel and fire. Legions, hardened by countless campaigns, were summoned, their ranks filled with disciplined soldiers, their engineers preparing siege engines, their cavalry poised to sweep the desert. The stage was set for a brutal counterattack. Petronius marched south with a force estimated at 10,000 men, a number vastly superior to anything the Meroites could field in a pitched battle. The Roman advance was relentless, pushing the Meroitic forces back through the very territories they had so recently claimed. The clatter of legionary sandals, the thud of siege rams, and the cries of battle filled the air as Roman discipline met Meroitic ferocity. The towns of Selkis and Premnis, now Qasr Ibrim, fell, their garrisons overwhelmed. The Meroitic heartland itself lay exposed. The ultimate blow, a testament to Rome's unyielding vengeance, came with the sacking and partial destruction of Napata, the ancient spiritual capital of Kush further south. Sacred temples were defiled, royal tombs looted, and a city that had stood for centuries crumbled under the weight of Roman retribution. The sands were stained red, the air thick with smoke and the despair of a people pushed to the brink. Yet still, Amanirenas did not break. Even as Napata smoldered, the Meroitic spirit, embodied by Amanirenas, refused to be extinguished. The Kandake, perhaps having retreated with her main force, regrouped and fortified the strategically vital stronghold of Premnis, a formidable fortress perched atop a cliff overlooking the Nile. Here, she planned to make her stand, transforming the natural defenses of the land into an impregnable bulwark against the Roman tide. Petronius, eager to complete his conquest, laid siege to Premnis. What followed was a grueling, bloody stalemate. Roman siege engines hurled their payloads, legions attempted to scale the walls, but the Meroitic defenders, fueled by the fury of their ravaged homeland and the unwavering resolve of their one-eyed queen, resisted with every fibre of their being. Arrows rained down from the ramparts. Meroitic archers, renowned for their skill, took a heavy toll on the exposed Roman attackers. The desert heat, the lack of easy supplies, and the sheer tenacity of the Meroates began to wear down the Roman legions. Days bled into weeks, the siege dragging on, a testament to Meroitic resilience. Petronius, a seasoned general, faced an unexpected dilemma. His victory was not assured, and the cost in Roman lives and resources was mounting, far outweighing the perceived value of this distant, rebellious kingdom. The desert, once a symbol of Meroitic vulnerability, was now their ally, a vast, unforgiving expanse that swallowed Roman legions and challenged their imperial logistics. The siege of Premnis, protracted and costly for Rome, proved to be a turning point. Petronius, despite his earlier victories, found himself in an unenviable position. He could not completely subjugate Meroë without committing an exorbitant amount of resources and manpower, diverting legions from more crucial borders of the vast Roman Empire. Amanirenas, though her kingdom had suffered, had demonstrated an unbreakable will and a strategic cunning that Rome had underestimated. Neither side could achieve a decisive, lasting victory without incurring unacceptable losses. The stage was set for negotiation, an outcome few would have predicted for a barbarian queen confronting the undisputed master of the Mediterranean world. Amanirenas, showing not just military prowess but also diplomatic astuteness, seized the opportunity. She sent envoys directly to the mighty Emperor Augustus himself, who was then in Samos. Imagine the scene. Meroitic diplomats representing a queen who had personally defied and humiliated Rome, standing before the supreme ruler of the known world. It was a testament to Amanirenas' audacious spirit that she did not send them to Petronius, but directly to the source of Roman power, signaling her demand for respect as an equal sovereign. The negotiations were tense, but ultimately Rome, under Augustus's pragmatism, concluded that a costly, drawn-out war in the distant desert was not worth the meager gains. The year 2120 BC saw the signing of the historic Treaty of Samos, a monumental diplomatic victory for Amanirenas and the Kingdom of Meroë. The terms of the treaty were astounding. Meroë was explicitly exempted from paying tribute to Rome. Instead, a new mutually agreed-upon border was established, effectively creating a buffer zone between Roman Egypt and Meroitic territory. Roman troops withdrew from Meroitic lands, and trade relations, crucial for both empires, were re-established. Amanirenas had achieved the unthinkable. She had confronted the greatest empire on earth and secured her kingdom's sovereignty and independence, not through total military annihilation of Rome, an impossible feat, but by demonstrating an unwavering will to fight, making the cost of conquest prohibitively high for the Romans. The one-eyed queen had stared down the mighty eagle and forced it to blink. As a final symbolic gesture, the severed bronze head of Augustus, once pulled down from Aswan and buried under Amanirenas' palace, remained in Meroë, a potent and enduring trophy of their defiance. It served as a silent, powerful monument to the queen who dared to stand against the tide, ensuring that for centuries to come, Meroë would retain its autonomy, a beacon of freedom in a world increasingly dominated by Roman might. Her legacy was not just a preserved kingdom, but a powerful example of resistance. Amanirenas, the one-eyed Kandake, fades from the pages of mainstream history, but her legacy endures, etched not in elaborate Roman texts, but in the sands of her homeland and in the indomitable spirit she awakened. She was a queen who, against all odds, defended her people's freedom, ensuring that Meroë would thrive for another 3 centuries, preserving its unique culture, its language, and its pantheon of gods, untouched by the direct hand of Rome. Her physical scar, the lost eye, transformed from a vulnerability into a symbol of her singular, unwavering focus, a leader who saw the path to independence with unparalleled clarity. Her story is a stark reminder that history is not merely written by the victors, but also by those who dare to defy them, who claw back their sovereignty from the jaws of overwhelming power. What can we, in our modern world, learn from this forgotten queen? Perhaps it is the enduring power of resolve, the understanding that true strength lies not just in armies and imperial might, but in the unyielding will of a people determined to protect their identity and their freedom. Amanirenas' triumph teaches us that even the mightiest empires can be checked. Even the most dominant forces can be made to respect the boundaries of human spirit. Her voice, echoing through the desert winds, reminds us that courage, when forged in the crucible of conviction, can indeed change the course of history, leaving an indelible mark on the vast, silent canvas of time, a testament to the queen who dared to make an empire retreat.